A poet, in the view of a small child, speaks about the egotism that exists in this world. So, hell and heaven does not exist on the earth. That means it is not present in geography. When he realized that the adults were all hypocrites, they are not following what they are preaching. Enjambment, that means the sentence doesn't get completed in the first line, it goes on to the next sentence also. Hello everyone. A very warm welcome to all the young minds of class 11 CBSE. I am Dr. Shalini, your English teacher at Prep School. Today we are here to understand one of the wonderful poems, that is The Childhood, written by Marcus Nathan. This is a very innocent poem that is written by this poet. Let us see what is there in today's session. We are going to understand about the poet first, then we'll move on to the background or the theme of the poem. Next, we'll learn about the summary with literary devices. So these are the things that we are going to do in our session today. So let us start with the introduction of the poet. So very little is known about this poet Marcus Nathan. So this is the very famous poem that is written by him. Actually, this is the known poem that is written by him. Most of his other works are not actually introduced to the world. So very less is known about this poet Marcus Nathan. So now we'll go on to the background of the poem. So this poem, Childhood, that is written by Marcus Nathan, carries themes of childhood that is expressed by a boy or a girl, whatever, a child that is expressed by a child. Then the hypocrisy of the adults, how adults preach something and they practice something. So it talks about that also, and also how world is filled with egotism. So the poet, in the view of a small child, speaks about the egotism that exists in this world. So let us start with the first stanza of the poem. Altogether, there are 4 stanzas in this poem. So let us start with the first one. As we go on learning the poem, I want you to concentrate on the rhyming words that are there in the poem. So let us start with the first stanza. When did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? So let us notice here, the poet is asking a question. Okay, when did my childhood go? So he is asking, he is trying to find out, he is trying to figure out when he lost his childhood. Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it that day when he completed his 11 year of age? So was it that day he lost it? Or was it the time I realized that hell and heaven, so he is talking about hell and heaven, fine, so could not be found in geography. So they're actually not some position on earth, means it cannot be found in geography. So physical locations cannot be provided by anybody. So hell and heaven does not exist on the earth. That means it is not present in geography, and therefore, so you can see the logic that he is talking about. So logically, hell and heaven cannot be found on the earth. So they do not exist at all. So he talks about their existence only. Was that the day? So he is talking that day when he started talking some logical things, when he tries to reason some things. Was that the day he lost his childhood? Was that the day he lost his innocence? So that is what he is talking about. So just notice, he is talking about when he lost his childhood. He is trying to find out the time at which he lost his childhood. Okay, before we began this stanza, I just asked you to concentrate on the rhyming words. But here you can see there are no rhyming words at all. So you must be aware of what literary device that is called as. So now let us move on to the next stanza. When did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? So now again, he is asking the question, when did he lose his childhood? Again, he is looking for the time at which he lost his childhood. He is talking about the adults who were not all they seem to be. That means he is talking about the hypocrisy. So what is hypocrisy? He talks about their practice. What they preach is not what they practice. So he is talking about that. Then they talked of love and preached of love. So all they talk is that they love somebody. They tell this person, they tell this child to be loving, but they are argumentative. They are only not loving. They don't love their neighbors also. So how is it that they tell somebody else to be loving, but they are only not following that what they are preaching? So what they preach is something different, what they practice is something different. So they talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. So they were only not practicing what they were preaching. So he could find out that, he could know that they are all hypocrites. So was that the day he lost his childhood? Again, you can see there is no rhyming word at all in this poem. So again, in the second stanza, he is asking, when did he lose the childhood? Again, let us now move on to the third stanza. Here again, he asks a question. When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine, to use whichever way I chose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people, but my own and mine alone? Was that the day? So here also you can see he is asking a question, when did he lose his childhood? So you must have noticed in the first three stanzas what we learnt. The poet is giving various other options, but the question is the same. Okay, when did my childhood go? When did my childhood go? When did my childhood go? So all these questions are same, but the options are different. Was it at the time he completed 11? That was one option. The next one, when he realized that the adults were all hypocrites, they are not following what they are preaching. Was that the day his childhood was lost? And in the third stanza, it is something else. So what is it? His childhood went, when was it? Was it when I found my mind was really mine? So my mind was really mine. By this, he means to say that he started expressing his own thoughts. Okay, that means he became matured enough to express his own thoughts. He became matured enough to give proper reasoning. That means he had started thinking rationally when he thought about hell and heaven. Now he is able to express the same thing in his own words. So he is not expressing somebody else's thoughts. That means you can see this one also here, producing thoughts that were not those of other people. Not those of other people. That means this poet is talking his own opinions. Okay, he is talking whatever thoughts he is getting, and he is not giving his thoughts based on somebody else's opinions. Okay, his thoughts are not formed based on somebody else's opinions. He is able to think on his own. He is able to give his own opinions. So this is the way the author is trying to express his ideas and opinions. So was that the day when he started expressing his own opinions, when he started becoming unbiased about other people? Was it the day when he started thinking on his own, when he started expressing his own ideas and thoughts? So, but my own, it was not the other people's opinion he is expressing, it was his own and mine alone. He is not at all biased by any other opinion, is what he is trying to say here. So, was that the day he lost it, he is asking. Okay, so then we'll move on to the next stanza. All these three stanzas you could see it was, when did my childhood go? But now he asks a different question. Where did my childhood go? So now he is worried about that also. Okay, fine, I lost it, but where did it go? Why did he lose it? He was thinking now, till now. Now he is talking about, where did the childhood go? It went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. So now he is looking for the place where the childhood has gone. Okay, that innocence where it has gone. It went to some forgotten place, some place where he is not able to find it, some place where he is not able to reach. So some forgotten place it has gone. That means it is nowhere to be seen in author's life anymore. So childhood is not at all there in author's life anymore. That's hidden in an infant's face. So you can see that childhood in the infant's face, that innocence what the infants have in their face, that is because of the presence of childhood. Even those infants will lose it after some years, probably when they start thinking rationally, when they start observing adults that they are not loving as they are preaching, and when they start expressing their own opinions and ideas, their childhood also will go away. That's all I know. So now he is able to find out the place where at least he could reach to a conclusion where the childhood has reached. Okay, so it has reached an infant's face is what he says. So here you can observe that this poem is written in first person narration. So it is in first person narration, means it is like I is what the poet is talking about. So I, my, so this way he is talking about himself. So that means it is written in first person narration. Then another thing we must notice is that we saw that there were no rhyming words at all. Once in a while it will rhyme, but that cannot be taken as rhyming words at all. Okay, so you find that there are no rhyming words. That means this poem is written in free verse. Okay, this poem is written in free verse or zero verse also you can say. That means the literary device which you can find over here, whenever it is written in free verse, then the literary device that you can find will be usually enjambment. Okay, it will be enjambment. That means the sentence doesn't get completed in the first line, it goes on to the next sentence also. Fine. So let me just go back to the previous slide and show you. So here you can see the thoughts of other people but my own. So it continues over here. It goes to the next line. Here you can see it ends somewhere here. So the sentence doesn't get completed here, but that is the continuation of that line, but it starts from the next line. So this usage is called as enjambment. Fine. So you can also see over here the repetition of sounds in the beginning of the letters. Okay. So that you can see here, then that is called as alliteration. Okay. So this is called as alliteration. So these are the literary devices that are found in this poem. So this was the summary of the poem, and there are only 4 stanzas. It is very easy for you to understand also. There are no difficult words also in this poem. So once you read it, it is very easy for you to understand. But you need to understand, you need to read in between lines wherein you found these words like hell and heaven cannot be found in geography. That means he is very rational in thinking. Okay, then based on that opinion, he tells that they do not exist at all. That means when they are not found on earth, they do not exist at all. So that is called as rational thinking. Then he talks about the elders. What they preach is not what they follow. That means he's talking about the hypocrisy of the adults. So the third stanza, he speaks about his own opinions, expressing his own opinions. That means he is able to think independently. So he talks about that also. So these are all the ways in which the author expresses his thoughts. So the question is the same, but the thoughts are different. And in the last stanza, he talks about where the childhood has gone. These 4 stanzas are very easy for you to understand. So just go through this video before you go through the poem. It will guide you to read it in a proper way. So you have the meaning in your mind, you read the poem, you'll understand it better. Okay, so that's all for today. Let us meet again in another more interesting session. Thank you for your time. Keep learning. Take care. Bye-bye.